JDG, just to make sure there won't be any shenanigans of BLG taking it in game number 1. The Nico and that Silas and the J4 are going to be banned away by BLG.
So BLG took first pick, JDG on the blue side. Again, I got to remind myself that every time because this is tripping me up. It gets me every time. Now, Rumble, something that's been banned away a lot. It has been very highly prioritized in series, but hasn't found the most success. It will be up. Now, I'm glad I get to shout this out. It's not going to get picked because this is the LPL, but Broken Blade did play Lee Sin top into Rumble yesterday, and it didn't do well, but apparently it's been doing really well in scrims. Also, Vladdy was saying on Casual stream, Azir picked up for Knight now. Mazel, I didn't cast LPL last year, but I did watch a lot of LPL last year. Azir on Knight is not necessarily the thing that makes a BLG fan smile.
It's not bread and butter, I will say that, but it is still something I feel like we've seen rise in priority here in the new meta that we've had. Now on the other side, couple of big wombo combos coming through. You got the Rumble locked in that we were talking about earlier, but the Varus, the kind of tried and true staple of AD right now.
Do you know this champion's getting buffed in the next patch too? Apparently not getting played enough.
Yeah.
But very flexible with the builds. It's mostly been the poke version of Varus, the lethality Varus, but can still have the option to go on hit if any, big beefy tanks are picked, if there's a Mundo angle, if it's an Ornn or a Sion picked up. It should probably be Cassante or a Sion Ornn here into the Rumble. Could also be Galio. That's fallen out of favor a lot though, so for JDG here, you could match mid or you could match your jungler. You've obviously selected a strong bot laner. I imagine Sivir probably going to follow after this. But for mid, again, you could go that Syndra if you like it into the Azir or roaming the Talia, something that was played a lot last year. Not as much as a counter because Azir has been banned a lot. But I think Talia looks pretty nice here. Works well with the Rumble. You could take the Jarvan. Could take the Wukong as well. Good pairing. Jarvan's banned. Could take the Wukong. Good pairing for the Rumble as well. Oh, wow. Okay, so an early bot lane.
Go with something to lock everything down, to have that front line. I think that's one of the biggest things we always wonder about with Rumble tops is you lose a position of that kind of tankiness if you do go that. I got to give props to BLG, though. I know we were talking about the Knight Azir, but nonetheless, it is a pretty proactive pick that can stick and move in a lot of cases, and having the Pantheon in jungle from Xun, they are looking to attack this early game, which is something we wanted to see if they could do since the last time early games didn't go so well for them against JDG.
BLG getting reps on the Azir on stage is also super important. Makes a lot of sense. Now, I imagine the Alistar, actually, as I'm thinking about it, is to stop Sivir, because that matchup's completely unplayable for Sivir. So now JDG don't have to waste a ban on the Sivir because it's been played a lot into the Varus. You just pick the Alistar away. You do have to undergo bans against jungle and potentially against mid, but HongQ should be able to reach fairly deep. They do have counterpick here if they want to keep mid for counterpick, but Yunara still available is a bit of a surprise to me. I would have expected, a bit more priority on this champion. I think it's been, pardon me, doing very, very well. There it is. Nice ban away. So, I mean, what are we looking at here? Jhin, not too bad. Something that's got range into Varus. I like the Jhin. Could be an Ashe look, but it's a tough ask for Viper. He's a rock for this team. Do you want to put him on something that's going to be able to support Knight, who's not on his most comfortable champion? Do you want to give something to Viper, like an Aphelios maybe, to try to add some more damage threat to this team comp?
The Yone ban here, so just making sure HongQ can't do anything too crazy in that mid lane. We'll see what the double pick is, or at least the pick is going to be here, but the double pick for BLG is going to be because they really want to kind of get that puzzle piece for Viper, because they always rely on their ADs. If there's one thing over the last 3 years for BLG, is they always rely on their ADC to carry those team fights. So want to make sure they can kind of get those tools they need. But now we are going to be looking at what combo we want from this synergistic mid-jungle duo that we've praised so much about. And the first piece of that is going to be the Xin Zhao for JunJia.
The Ezreal hover here for Viper. It's a good lane. It does mean that you have some mobility away from the Alistar, away from the Xin Zhao. And Ezreal's one of those champions that kind of has, like, you have to have an Ezreal license. This is Viper. This is one of the best AD carries in the world. Going towards the Corki, massive win percentage in the LCK. And obviously we know where Viper is from. HongQ, what have you got for us on the 5? Aurora, tough, bit short range. Silas is banned. You could go Akali. That would be really hard in the lane, but this is in the same vein as the Akali.
This is something we've seen a couple of mid laners want to pick or go through, but I got to focus on that Corki for Viper first and foremost. I'm not super sold on it. I think with this composition, it'll be really interesting to see how he gets his damage down, and now he's got to deal with the poke-centered Ziggs as well in the later part of the game, and you also get the Ziggs into the Azir matchup.
This is a great front-to-back style comp from JDG. They've got not a traditional tank and not a traditional frontline, but they have that Xin Zhao, right? The Crescent Guard going to buy so much time, and then they have so much burst damage onto the first target. Unfortunately, that first target might be a Cassante, but for BLG, they have great scaling. They have great side lane with Azir, with Pantheon access. They have great team fighting with the Rakan too. I think if JDG can keep distance, find a pick, take down Viper, even on Shun, they look really nice, but BLG, they have superior scaling in my opinion. They have great CC and side lane access. JDG are going to have to not switch off for a moment, or there's going to be a Pantheon, there's going to be a Rakan.
That's going to be so interesting because I do feel like the execution level is pretty high on both sides. In one way, you have to kind of quell that aggression with the side of JDG and make sure you have distance to poke. Make sure you're ahead on objectives, that you're getting there, setting yourself up with vision and being able to keep that distance. Whereas if BLG overextended one of their fights, they can be hurt pretty badly with some of the disconnection that this comp might have with it. But we're getting into the first game of this series. I know it's something that everybody's been waiting for, been looking forward to. This is the start of the second round robin for both these two teams, and what can be the last, or will be the last time we see them face off against each other until those playoffs, Jay Beto.
That's important. I think the last match is BLG AL again, so waiting until the very end for that rematch. But yeah, this is important. Again, you need to be top 4 to stay in, or not go through the play-ins. But seeding is important, right? You want a better seed, play against some easier matches. Top 2 to first stand this year, pardon me. So I can definitely see, obviously BLG, but JDG as well, making it to first stand, representing the LPL. Got some JDG and some BLG signs from the crowd. Good to see. Got some cosplay as well. It's always good to have a live audience, I will say. We started Demacia with, the in-person, the not in-person, the remote. Yeah. And there were a lot of issues there. BLG having some fun on the stage here. Good to see the vibes going well. We're talking about a vibes team. It's good to see them going off to this start.
Yeah, at least, right? I'm sure we're having some sort of technical difficulty as well. We're not getting right into the game itself. But again, that still was always one of the factors. And when you watch all the background documentaries and things like that, especially from Worlds for BLG, it was just deflated in the background. And I think having somebody that brings up the vibes that you saw 2020 for JDG, or not JDG, BLG have so much success at, was kind of keeping those vibes right, and all the content that they showed, it was always a positive for them. And I think that's something they lost in 2025. So we'll see if they can kind of keep that going, if Shun really is that big puzzle piece for them to keep the vibes going. But it seems pretty good so far, at least. But diving back into this matchups themselves, I still think we talk a little bit about how this bot lane is going to matter, especially as time goes on for them too. But I still do really like some of the combinations that can come from these mid jungles early, and I want to see what kind of prow they want to play around that. If it is just going to be strictly down towards bot side, or if we're going to see a little bit of shenanigans in the mid lane. We're getting to game 1 of this heavyweight bout, BLG versus JDG. Can BLG show a better performance than last time around?
Now, Mazel, I don't know if the mic is just closer tonight, or there are a lot of eager fans on both sides of this matchup, because that was some of the loudest crowd chants I've ever heard.
Yeah, I think some of those mics might have gotten busted a little bit there. But hey, I'll take the loud gyos. I'll take the passion, because I think these two teams deserve it. And we'll see if they actually pay off on that one tonight. But we're already getting a little bit of lane dominance here. And we'll see how exactly it continues moving, as both junglers will be starting on their top sides.
Yeah, again, remember, this is not Knight's most comfortable champion, but I think it is really important to get reps on stage on a champion like Azir. We know what certain players can do with this champion, and it's important to at least have it in your wheelhouse. You don't have to be incredible on it, but being able to take it away from other players, like being able to take it away from HongQ and perform okay, and even potentially pull a win out of it, obviously. But this is something that Knight played a lot of, these zigs into the Azir. Azir struggles against range in the early game, doesn't have a ton of damage through this early laning phase, so you can see that Knight already struggling, but should be okay. There is a lot of sustain in the game, a lot of mana sustain anyway, and with the home guards added, Knight should be able to get back to his lane fairly frequently.
Yeah, it's always curious, like, how many resources are going to be committed there, as we see a little bit of an all-in on bot side here. Double pulverize, pretty nice from Vampire Startup, but Gala overextended a little bit there, taking a chunk of damage. So it will be about half health for both. Another Grand Entrance connects, or at least the Grand Entrance connects from On. A little bit more damage. Some poke maybe coming through. Going to miss a little bit from Gala, but JunJia is already here. The speed clear has come through, and Chun will end up having to go to the other side of the map for the other scuttle.
Little punch out here. There's that early TP back from Knight. But it won't result in a whole lot. It'll just be the scuttle for scuttle trade. So very nice there from our junglers to find a little something. JunJia hovering now behind Viper and On. Nice little TP here from the lethality virus. Again, it will be the lethality virus. JDG have a ton of range, so if they do play their fights well, which there is a ton of engage on the other side, like that's really crucial to this argument. Yes, JDG have so much range through all the early game, mid game, and late game, but Rakan, Pantheon, these are guaranteed confirm engage tools. It's not a Rel that's struggling to find a Q, or a Nautilus that's going to... Actually, Nautilus has ult. That's a bad example. But you know what I'm talking about. When
yeah, exactly.
These champions, nice headbutt pulverize.
Good combo there. And Gala not staying around to take too much damage on the back end either. So they'll get a nice health advantage there, and maybe even force an early back from the BLG bot lane.
And there is Home Gods, Season 16. Right, it does want to make it a little bit easier to help. But I will say no lane swaps. It's basically dead. There have been like one or two for some grubs prioritization, but in a lane like this, you would see like instantly lane swap, and that's a testament to how well Gala's playing this lane. Alistair is not a good laner, especially level 1. So to push out bot lane as aggressive as he has been, Gala's been doing quite a good job. The good thing here, that's pretty cringe.
HongQ's BM in here against Knight, bro. He's like, I had your number last time. Don't even matter. I'm already up.
I think it's really important.
CS.
It's very important for this series, Mazel, because I mean, HongQ is on a champion that can't really dictate the game and how it goes. That's more on JunJia's shoulders this game. But shutting down Knight, if this can... Like, it's already 500 gold, and it'll even up now. Hold on. Nice little combo onto On, but very slippery, this virus. If Knight continues to fall further and further behind, when these team fights come around, he won't have the damage. He won't be able to go in and find any shuffles, and that's not been Knight's bread and butter, like we mentioned, on this Azir. So finding angles like that, I will say, like, to give him credit, is really hard. You've got to have an eye for it. So it does... Like, it's really unfortunate for a player like Knight, who is incredibly good. Like, let's be real. He's really good. To have a champion just one like this that he's not very comfortable on, that just destroys everybody. So you kind of have to either have something into it or be able to play it. Bit of posturing here around the dragon.
Yeah, they really
More
are.
JDG members.
Everybody's down for the party here, apparently. Viper going to be a little bit delayed to it. I missed the headbutt pull there from Vampire. Trying to catch Gala out. He's going to have to flash out of the pit here. He is just by himself. He's going to have to do it, and now Shun has forced the flash of a major carry for JDG, and On going to pressure on the other side of the fight while BLG start up the Dragon.
Nice little push out. BLG are able to... Oh, Viper takes a big
not gonna do it.
chunk there. Yeah, a bit risky. There is a level 6 on Shun.
Knight trying to deliver HongQ straight to Shun, but not enough distance there. I like the idea of the play. The Grand Starfall going to be used. He just got level 6. He knows Gala has no flash. Gala going to be instantly punished for his flashless summoner, and that's Shun on the board for BLG.
I mean, take your pick. Both carries had no flash. HongQ calls, Pantheon's around, but I don't think that they saw he was level 6. So instead... Gala steps too far forward and takes a little stumble here. It will mean a 400 gold lead. Thank you, Riot, for first blood. But it's
best change.
Not as much as HongQ has accrued. The crucial part, though, HongQ lost flash. Knight didn't in that shuffle exchange. So right now, HongQ's safe, but might need some hovering from JunJia, some hovering from Vampire to get him through some of these lane positions. Ziggs, again, great into Azir with the range, but a very volatile laner. Not very safe at all compared to Azir that has so many more options.
Yeah.
That Pantheon ult will be down for a decent amount of time, but it's ticking up pretty quickly.
And not only has Knight, picked the Azir that is stable, Knight himself has been incredibly stable. I know it's something we wanted to talk about coming into this one, as he has been one of the big focuses for BLG. He has the most player of the games. He has the most player of the matches. And he has just been on a tear. And I don't know if that's any different from any other year of these last 3 years of the LPL.
Yeah.
But the consistency is insane.
I mean, you don't get to have a nickname for just being any Joe Schmo. So, I mean, Knight, one of the best players in the world, period. Arguably the best player in the LPL of all time. Obviously, there are some players who would contest that, but he's been very consistent. And I even think, although BLG looked very unlike themselves in Worlds, I think Knight looked very solid. JunJia looking for a blue buff invade.
Does steal away the blue initially, yeah, and they're going to move over. Still no Dragon Prio, even though Grubs has spawn on the other side. It looks like there might be a trade situation if time continues to move like this. JunJia is going to look towards mid, still trying to stay active towards this bot side of the map consistently, though, and that's obviously the game plan for JDG.
I like that escort. JunJia is hovering mid because look at the Pantheon ult, it's nearly back up. So HongQ rotates down with JunJia. They're holding hands into the river. HongQ feels comfortable to walk back up to the jungle by him. To the mid lane by himself. And this is the thing, JDG have their pushing lanes, right? They've got the Varus poke, they've got the Ziggs poke, and the Rumble topside will eventually start to win once he gets an item. As soon as the Grubs are shown that they're done, JDG will know that there is a Pantheon on topside, but he has ult back up again. And again, these carries have no flashes. Looking for a dive, though.
Yeah, JunJia has circled around bot side. Headbutt pull comes through and beautifully executed onto Viper. Viper will fall. Vampire not going to go down to the turret shots, and the minions tank the rest of it. That's going to be a quick double kill for JDG.
I'm not sure if the map is bugged or if Shun didn't get all 3 Grubs. It looks like it wasn't all 3, so he'll go back now. That's a big win from JDG. It means that they don't have to worry about rushing a Drake down. There is no Pantheon on the way. That was a really well-executed dive. JunJia with the challenge and the ult to separate on away. Vampire lives on very low HP, but, calculated, we'll say. Vampire as well swapped over to the Ghost, so this tells me that Vampire wants to go again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the right play here. If they can punish this bot side and keep them behind, it's going to be a big ticket item moving forward for JDG. Still no big objective focus on the bot side. We're 11 minutes in without the first dragon being taken. And with this redeploy from both junglers, it looks like it's going to be a little while longer for that to even come the case. So now that we're moving forward here, everybody actually has their ultimates. Have we changed our perspective on how these teams operate or actually fight into each other?
Well, Mazel, the flashes are nearly back up. I was expecting BLG to pull a trigger. I mean, On has ult now. Knight's had ult for a while. Shun has his back up too. But JDG, despite having both immobile carries, okay, Ziggs has Satchel, but immobile for the most part, Knight had flash and ult up, and JDG have just been able to sit here, clear from range, and get their flashes back up. Looks like, 12 seconds on HongQ's flash. The Dragon will be started up, so BLG start with both of the first neutral objectives. They've got 3 grubs, and now they're getting the Drake, so levying a little bit of that pressure that the summoner spells would have awarded them, but these gold leads, 800 for Gala. HongQ's is stabilized, but JDG are trading these objectives for some gold on their carries.
Yeah, they're already on first items for almost everybody but Vampire here, and that's going to be pretty nice spikes, but obviously those second, third item spikes are going to be the big ones, as you already got that Ludens completed for HongQ, and that's going to make poke and prod even that much better. It's a little bit of reactivity now from JDG to BLG's proactivity, but the other big things that are going to be coming along are the quest completions. You already have a couple of them done from JDG's side of things, but really the time difference between when Viper completes his and Gala having already completed his is going to be a big telling point on that lead that's developing for Gala in bot lane.
Yeah, already 1K as well. Something interesting that you bring up the quests is, again, mids have been completing their boots first quite frequently because of the upgrade, but on Azir, you don't do that because you really need Nashes to do things. And I guess on the Ziggs, you haven't seen any, to my knowledge, mid lane Zig so far, but getting the Ludens early, needing that mana, assisting on the poke, the boots don't really apply that much. So nice, interesting change up here, but it will mean that on the quest completion, hold on.
Oh, HongQ getting connected on. He has the flash, but is it going to be enough? He gets the Mega Inferno Bomb out. The damage isn't there. HongQ survives.
Ooh. The spear was close. JunJia can't chase. Vampire maybe looking for a dive bot, but on hovering, Gala just peppering Viper out of this lane. Will hit his quest as well now. Gala takes a tower shot. Unfortunate, but HongQ did have to flash, but surviving that was crucial.
I mean, what a clutch play from HongQ to get away from that in the end, not being able to hit the spear from Shun, but hey, the guy is strutting his stuff. He's picking all kinds of picks. This is his 9th unique champion pick this split so far. And now on, going for a play on to Gala here with the Grand Starfall coming from Shun. The exhaust is already down, and that's going to be enough damage from BLG to pick up Gala. A little bit of redemption play on the bot lane, 2v2, but now it's a 3v1 against Vampire, and he will be chunked down to a double kill for Viper.
That's 2 for 2. Viper stepping up when Shun has ult and falling down to the Grand Starfall. Pardon me. Too much kombucha. HongQ gets caught by this Rima Shuffle. It looks really good. The flash is nice. Yes, Knight does have flash, but he can't overchase because of this bomb. He would die.
He missed 2 Qs.
Look at the spear as well. So close. If HongQ keeps walking...
I don't know if you're allowed to miss those 2 Qs, though. I'm just saying. That's a tough one for Shun. He's going to want that one back for sure.
The lead
looks like JDG going to take this turret down here. Yeah.
It's a 1K lead for ADC that is now gone. Bin TP's down. HongQ
was
should
it worth
be okay.
it, HongQ? Was it worth it? Can he get out? Alcove Gaming. The rest of the Wambulance is on its way for HongQ. Vampire's going to stop Shun, but I don't think they save HongQ. And unfortunately, HongQ has now been introduced to the power of the top lane. And Bin will actually get himself a kill here.
Welcome to Cassante, HongQ. I'm sure you two have been introduced, but now you get to see what one of the world's best top laners can do on him. Really great TP from Bin. Lane assignment as well, taking Knight, putting him up top lane. Gala. And remember, no cleanse on Viper, no Michaels at all. So if Viper is caught by the chains of corruption with this build and anyone else is around, Viper will die. They do even up the gold lead. Yes, BLG in the bot lane, but Gala is still stronger at this point. The range is much stronger. If Viper can obviously not get hit by the chains of corruption, hopefully dodge out on a Q and be close enough to hit, this Corki does so much damage, but that's the problem. The range is a huge issue in this matchup. Now starting the Herald, this would be JDG's first neutral objective of this series, so finding some punchback, but look at BLG.
Vampire's got a massive flank on Knight. He has no idea he's there. He's going to instantly instinct flash away from it. Although Rift Herald will go the way of JDG. Gala is the target of BLG. They have ripped and roared, and they have teared into him now as the eye will be secured by JunJia. Really heads up play there to go grab that one. Flashes out from JDG will mean that they get away with only losing Gala.
It's kind of a flip of the script here, Mazel. Hang on. Let me catch
By the way,
this
6 flashes just got burned. And Vampire, unfortunately, doesn't have his anymore.
Well, he'll be able to get out, so that's 7. Look at the flashes all spent. But the best part about this for BLG is that Shun's is coming up and he has ult available. So again, these are mobile carries. The Varus, so prioritized in the LPL, has a very, very high win percentage. I think it's 70% nearly, or 70-odd%. And Shun uses the ult into mid lane, but nice cover from Vampire. This is the kind of the problem, though, with this JDG draft. Great lanes, like we were talking about, but the side lanes, the side lane access with Shun, very difficult for JDG to step up anywhere without hover from their support / jungle. So Knight flashes, but immediately it's the pull on the Gala. They just go in on him. He has flash up. He wastes it.
Oh!
Still dies. Shun
Almost had a deja vu there. Almost a pick onto Gala in the end. Rift Herald got used by JDG in mid lane. HongQ's going to try to sneak up to take this one. He might give his life for it. Okay, he's going to walk away safely over towards JunJia. So that'll be a second turret for the Zig. So trying to chunk back this gold lead a little bit. JDG are going to go for their second neutral objective. This would be their first dragon, but still about a 1.2k gold lead for BLG.
It's a very close game. It is a decent gold lead, but it's very split up. Cassante 500 gold, that's pretty much irrelevant. You know, he has full items, so does Xiaoxu. Mid is 100 gold. Corki up 400. Support doesn't matter at all. So, yes, it's nearly 2,000 gold, but no one individually has a massive gold lead. It's just a couple of components in favor of BLG. JDG used the Herald to get that mid tower with HongQ, so very nice macro play there, and are also able to secure themselves a Drake. Now, this is something I've been thinking about. I feel like there's been way too many Chemtech souls so far this season. I feel like every second game it's Chemtech soul. Knight.
Oh, he stopped. What? That was such a big brain play from Knight. He knows he can't get pushed, so he gets pushed upwards into the other side of the ultimate. My God, take a picture, because that was incredible.
Again, this is a champion Knight's not known for, or more has been known to not perform on when it matters most. But again, these on-stage reps, that was even gold before that play. Knight now up nearly 1,000 gold, 850. Sizable lead now. We were just talking about individual gold leads. Yes, there's the 500 on Corki, but this 850 lead for Knight is important. 3,000 gold lead for BLG in general. They are outranged, so Knight has to be careful, but HongQ is really suffering in these side lanes against Azir.
He is. He just has no safety there, and now with no flash can be punished yet again. He's going to be close to that second item, but that gold lead is starting to get out in front of JDG. They're going to continue to try to push this one as well. BLG looking for a dive on bot side. Grand Starfall going to be used. They're moving on to Xiaoxu. He's just completely locked down. Will go down, but now the TP coming in from JDG. Reinforcements have arrived. Sound the horn as now Gala. He was those reinforcements, but he will be brought down to the dirt just like his friend. And that is going to be 2 kills to BLG. The lead ballooning to over 4,000 gold now, and they could even push this tier 2 if they want to.
It's the side lane pressure, Mazel. The side lane access with Shun, with this Azir, with this Rakan as well, that provides so much threat onto the backline of JDG. Yes, in lane, they're strong. Out of lane or in these side lanes, they're not. JunJia
going to get caught too. Uses the Crescent Guard really nicely onto both members, but now Knight is right in his face. A little bit of damage back down, and Vampire can do nothing but watch. He goes in late, trying to get the kill there in the end, but Unbreakable will be popped. Mega Inferno Bomb going to be dashed and flashed out of by On. JDG can't find any recompense, and they will just lose their jungler.
JDG struggling in this first game. Down now 5,500 gold, but they really don't have an answer. Sometimes the gold and dragons might be irrelevant, but it's super important in this game. The carries are very good late game. There's just nothing that JDG can do when these side lanes are affected. Gala TP's in, the tower is alive, but back at live,
and then
HongQ again
HongQ
is the
just
side
dies.
lanes.
What did I say like a minute ago? He has no more flash. They will just find the pick. And this BLG is a BLG to be scared of. Last time around, JDG took the early games, took the map away from BLG, and they couldn't do anything about it. They lost 2-0. That was brutal. But BLG have learned from their mistakes from just their last series, which was just played against JDG, to now come into this early game and say, no, this is ours. Be active in the side lanes. Be active in these pick moments. And they've done so beautifully so far, 21 minutes in.
If JDG, even despite the gold deficit, could get, one more item on their carries here, hit from range, BLG couldn't really do a whole lot of anything. But again, it's the side lanes. BLG finding impact with these side lane kills. Shun on this Pantheon has provided so much pressure, and because of the lack of vision that JDG have, it's so difficult to be prepared for the Pantheon. Where do you ward? In the lane? A random brush to predict that Shun is going to ult from? There is no way of knowing where or when this Pantheon is going to come out. If it was different, if it was a Ryze in the mid lane, if it was a Talia, if there was a Nocturne, you could answer it somehow. The Ryze is very tanky. He's got his own global to get out. He has CC. If it was a Talia, with the shove away, it would be really nice. If it was a mobile ADC, someone that can sit by themselves, a Yunara might even be okay. But because they're both so immobile with no agency by themselves, Shun has free reign.
On a little bit of trouble there, as you saw Viper doing a wonderful comeback job in this series, or at least in this game number 1 of the series. He was down like 1,000 gold to Gala, and now he's up almost 1.5, but I guess that's what happens when your whole team is winning out. Now another dragon will be spawning. These are pretty late because we didn't get our first one until like almost 13 minutes into the game, but it could be another focus for BLG to continue pushing the tempo if they want to go for that dragon, as we already see pings coming down that way and multiple members of BLG surrounding it.
JDG can give this. It is an objective bounty if JDG were to get it, but that would mean the end of the game. So they can give it. It's only 1 dragon apiece. Objective bounty for game sounds like a worth trade to me. Earlier, I was talking about the gold lead for BLG. It was a scary number, but it wasn't on important members. It is now. And obviously, it's a huge gold lead now. It's 1,000 minimum apiece. Knight up 2,000 gold. This is a good statement from Knight as well. Having the ability to pick this champion away and look this good. JunJia. Ooh, they try.
They did. Okay, we're going to get the all-in here, or the all-out, if you will, by Ben on the Xiaoxu. Xiaoxu feeling like he could take that fight. He does have his second item completed there with that Bloodletters, and does have the rest of JDG streaming up here to try to join him. Now Ben's going to be caught. He's going to have to try to take the fight and get the kill. Xiaoxu got to burn him down with the flame. Gets clapped! That's huge from Ben to get the kill back in a 1v1. Massive stuff.
That is the Ben we've been missing in 2025. He looks so much more awake, so much more alive in these series. A crucial weak side play where he trades 1-for-1 in a matchup like this. Cassante, very
How does this champion keep getting away with this, man? I just don't understand it.
All right, you can dislike this take. Everyone can dislike this take. I think Cassante's balanced. I know that he's super strong. I would rather see Cassante every game than some other champions. The problem is people keep fighting into him when he's in all in, when he's in all out. The true damage, the healing, he's got infinite mana. You cannot fight him in this form. When he ults, you have to walk away. Every time, okay, maybe you could argue that the stuff he gets is too unfair. He gets infinite mana, no mana, true damage on W, a bunch of healing, cooldown reduction.
You're not making your case very good here. I'm just saying, Jay.
I think it's fun to watch. Vampire.
All right, well, BLG thinks it's fun to take a fight here as Chains of Corruption is going to massively strike BLG in the face. They get 2 kills off of it. That's soon.
Okay.
And on down. And Viper's going to get chased down too from like a 7,000 gold lead down to 4. And now JDG could just do the Baron.
This is a part of the Drakes as well, right? Because you're not at threat of a soul. You can make these plays. Ben doesn't want to let this go. There's no jungler. How do BLG do anything here?
I mean, Ben is pretty mega right now. He's looking to activate Giga Ben status here. He does have the all-out. He's going to go for the damage onto JunJia. JunJia is there to smite it away. He gets the Baron down. Knight can't get the kill into HongQ. Meanwhile, Ben is trying to tear them apart in the pit. This is so split from the solo laners of BLG. If they had worked together, maybe things had gone better. But that will be Baron to JDG and 2 more kills on top of it. 7,000 gold down to almost 1,000 now for BLG's favor.
Hold the phone. JDG with the range. They find crucial picks here. We take a look back. It's on overstepping here. Cassante is in bot side, but BLG try to look for a pick before Baron, and they grossly overextend. Really nice catch. This is the front to back I was talking about in the draft. The chains of corruption to start it with. Gala gets the kill. Once the front line is gone, there is no way of closing the gap onto these backline carries. There is a lot of damage. Don't be mistaken. I know it's looked bad for JDG. There is a lot of damage from this backline. It's a Ziggs poke Varus back at live on his court.
They're going to catch on again. Mega Inferno Bomb going to be dashed out of, but now Shun is in trouble. They are just desperately trying to find an exit here. Knight will be able to be there to escort Shun out of the fight, but this is a massive gold swing, and after all of that, JDG are about to take back the gold lead 28 minutes into the game, and that is insane. I mean, you can say that BLG fell asleep at the wheel here.
They did. They overextended. They got too confident, but BLG not out of it. 2 dragons, still have a small lead. But this is a game, Mazel, that's kind of on Knight's shoulders here. Viper outranged. If he has time to hit, sure, but who's he hitting? Rumble? That's tough. Xin Zhao, well, he's crescent guarded. Ziggs and Varus, that's never happening. So it's reliant on Knight finding damage, finding crucial ult, pairing up with Shun. JDG, you can feel how confident they've become all of a sudden. They get one bit. The game's even. They are in full control of the map. This hasn't been a joke that has been in LCK a lot, but the tempo vibes right now, they're in JDG's favor.
And the last time these two teams met, I mean, you have to think about the decisiveness that JDG had showed, the kind of synergy as a team they had showed, and they're showing that now, that confidence really reigning supreme. Dragon is up. It would be a sole point for BLG, but they're threatening to push down mid lane. Meanwhile, JunJia is just going to start the Dragon up. No vision on this side of the map by BLG, but On is on a massive flank.
So much poke, Mazel. This flank could be important, but BLG can't walk into this amount of damage. It's dark on the bot side of the map, though. Here comes On.
They're just forcing it. They don't need to fight this, and they just force their hand. Chains of Corruption comes in. Ben's getting chunked here, but all the damage onto Ben is fine with them. As Shun blocks the damage from the Mega Inferno Bomb, Ben will finally fall. That will also be On getting caught by a latent bomb throw from HongQ, and that front to back is starting to work out. The flash play from JunJia. They're going to chase down Viper.
2 Drakes to JDG. When down tempo, BLG cannot walk in against this amount of range, and On goes behind for a great flank, but who can follow that? Shun, maybe, into the backline. That's a sacrifice as well. No one can reach the range of On's engage. So JDG back in the gold lead. 1,000 for Xiaoxu. This 3,000 lead for Gala? Knight, he has to go big. This is On Knight. He has to find something, whether it's a massive amount of damage and kills or a huge ult. We take a look back here. So much poke, so much range. All in Cassante. He probably not going to die, but the equalizer splits it up. On goes in. No one can follow. There is no range here for BLG.
And this is really why I didn't like the Corki, because as soon as you get blocked off like that equalizer, it literally just stops Viper from doing anything in those fights. And honestly, it's just really good decision making and bad decision making from BLG. And now, I mean, we've had a 9,000 gold swing in favor of JDG. The gold graph is going to be of epic proportion at this point, J Beto. But BLG need to get their head on their shoulders. There's big fights coming up, and another Baron coming up about 1:20, and the scaling factor is starting to come online for both sides.
On court again, takes a massive chunk. Should be a while before Baron, so On will be fine in that, but BLG finding it hard to walk anywhere. I mean, there is a world where BLG can give up this Baron because it's not Soul yet. So BLG, if they want any item completions, maybe, you know, this RFC for Viper, a Rabadons for Knight would be nice to finish. But you lose all control of the map. Knight,
like, what? He just goes in,
nice
has
shuffle.
to use his and then Shun comes over the top. He's going to immediately have to block back, but the Crescent Guard's going to be used. The Equalizer on top of it all. Mega Inferno Bomb as well, doing so much damage. HongQ is officially online, and I don't know what BLG just did, but it was not good. JDG will take that 10 times out of 10, and now it's going to be more pressure on the map. They're going to move mid as well.
I'm not going to blame Shun directly, but whoever said, like, if Knight said I need help, if Shun, whoever said help Knight, massive mistake. Again, one of the biggest benefits to Azir is how safe he is on side lane. Ult away, he dashes, he's out. He has flash up. But Shun goes in to heroically save his mid laner who is completely safe, sacrifices himself. Nice catch.
And now he's going to have to flash out of that one. Decent amount of damage back on a Vampire. Another big tool there used was the GA for Shun. I feel like GA unlocks the Pantheon so much in these fights. Now that won't be available, and Shun himself isn't available now. Baron is on the table, about a minute and a half for the Dragon.
The poke is relentless from JDG. No flash on Knight. Means if he wants to find an ult, it's going to be even harder, but both Gala and Xiaoxu have flash. HongQ might have flash up for this next Drake. Have to see when we hover over him next. But Knight on this Azir, getting closer and closer to this Rabadons, but he has the only gold lead for BLG that matters. Again, big asterisk. 1,000 lead on Rakan means nothing. But he hasn't really been able to find a ton of success on this Azir despite the 3 kills, despite his gold lead. He has so much damage at this point, and when he gets his Rabadons, he will have the most damage in the game from a consistent output standing. But the problem is that the Super Mega Inferno Bomb... Wait, no, that's I always combine Jinx ult. It's Mega Inferno Bomb.
Yeah, Mega Inferno
And this
Bomb.
Varus, the poke Varus, the burst potential. If Knight, if Viper can live through that, they do have more damage. But the one-shot potential from JDG and the range is so scary.
Couple big things, though, as well as Gala's at literal full item, and yes, they're cheaper items, but still a full item ahead of Viper. He's on 5.5, almost on his 6th item here. Viper just completed his 4th. He also had the Verdant Barrier there now for HongQ, so he'll have a little bit more safety onto Knight's advances or any kind of insta-stuns that you're going to be looking for, so you'll have to layer up double there, and now both objectives are up on either side of the map.
BLG threatening this is good. It's a lot harder for a comp like this to walk in for JDG's comp because they don't have a traditional tank, so face-checking blind is tough. Gala also has the spell shield on very far away on that Mega Blast Cone, setting up potential, or will be spotted out. That's brutal, but BLG can threaten this. They are down a good amount of gold, but they still have a lot of Baron damage, which JDG do not. They don't have a crazy amount of objective burn with not only this Ziggs, but the Varus, poke Varus. They do a lot of one-shot damage, but they don't burst down a lot of objectives. They will be able to get this Drake.
Viper just lost half his health from backing on where HongQ knew he was backing. Just threw a Mega Inferno Bomb over there. So that back will be delayed a little bit. The Dragon ceded over to JDG, and that was a very weird kind of pressure vacuum from BLG. They were threatening, posturing around the Baron, and then they just ended up letting JDG have the other side of the map.
What's the in here for BLG? They don't have any aggressive vision, and JDG with the range can set up their own. On will have to use Ghost. And again, JDG with this map control. BLG so much better at the side lane game with the Azir, with the Rakan, and with this Pantheon. But at these team fights, there is so much damage to try to walk through. And Vampire with the peel, you know, don't underestimate it. If Shun goes in too willy-nilly, Vampire gets a nice pulverize or headbutt combo. If On does the same thing, we normally see the the Alistair Rel trade, where Rel finds it hard to engage. If On can find the charm, different story, but Vampire can kind of do what I was talking about with the Syndra, right?
Yeah.
Deny the engage. If he can keep his backline super safe, BLG need to get in. They have to send it. They're running out of time. Soul in 3.5 minutes. Baron is up. JDG just biding their time.
JunJia going for a fight on, but yeah, that's something we talked about in the draft as well. Is like JDG have that kind of bend, don't break situation where if BLG go too far, then they can fully punish. And now JunJia is going to have to burn his Crescent Guard here. Both GAs are going to be up and available. Shuns has come back, so he's waited out the timer now. Unfortunately, no real big pieces to fight over, but BLG are sticking as 5 together over these last 3 or 4 minutes.
It's a big tool, though. Crescent Guard being off again. JDG, no massive frontline tools. It's hard for them to face check anything. They don't have a Nico to do that. They have some abilities to throw in and check if they hit. If they are in a position that they can hold a line and BLG have to walk in, it's very difficult because of the poke, but the squishiness of JDG means that Vampire has to be the one to walk in. He does have that ult available, so pretty tanky. Bin
willing to go in onto Bin. That chunking damage coming through now. Bin very low. Mega Inferno Bomb's going to chunk on too. He's going to burn.
It's huge.
He's not going to go down, but it's Knight that they find the pick on. He's going to flash. He's going to use his shifting sands. He's going to get out, but Bin is now got the flames at his back. There's the Emperor's Divide used, but Knight gets flashed on by JunJia, and now JDG will go right back to Baron.
The head of BLG cut off here before the Baron has started up. Viper will get the mid-tier 2 as a consolation prize, but the Baron will be on all 5 Mazel. Soul is 2 minutes away, and JDG, even though it's so hard for them to walk in, and even though, you know, the Cassante Maker jokes, they have so much damage at this point. Bin gets shredded so quickly, but JDG know who the target is. It's not. He takes no damage. It's the flash in here from Viper on top of the equalizer. Exhaust. We're just gunning for Knight. When Knight is dead here, there is not enough agency on this BLG roster.
Oh,
this is
my
painful.
God.
That is painful. Level 20
How
Rumble
are you-
Season 16.
How are you even there? That's so tough. Viper is so overextended there.
Looks like he
Nobody
TP'd
was
on his-
even
on his
close
head.
to him.
That's brutal.
This might
That's
go
a
down as
real
one of
tilt-up.
the wildest comebacks in
Yeah,
all of
TP.
LPL, if not just this season. And Viper's just way overextended, trying to get a little bit of minions there, and it might have just thrown the game.
I mean, down 3,000 gold. As an ADC player myself, can't fault him there, but it will be a big fault as BLG now, who could have potentially held their position. Knight's chunked again. He's the target. Knight falls. The game is over.
They got to take a fight. They have to do something here. JDG pushing them against the walls. Ben just gets locked out, and Vampire's running rampant. Knight tries to get in, and his 0% win rate this split on the Azir will continue to reign supreme. HongQ comes out the better of it. JDG find a miraculous comeback and go up 1-0 in the series.
And that is not a comeback against a slouch team. That is BLG.
Ben was stunned right there, by the way. He didn't even understand what just happened.
That is a bit brutal. What could Ben do there, right? He wins the weak side 1v1 when we need him to. He side lanes appropriately against the Rumble, and then he blinks and the game's kind of over from his perspective. But JDG, you can never count them out. When they find they're in, when they find the position in the game that they did, the stranglehold they have on the game is unreal. They play so well together. I think that this team, okay, the early game didn't look great, and that hasn't been uncommon, right? The Weibo series was the same, but when they're allowed to show off their synergy and their team fighting, this team looks the best in the LPL by far.
They really do, and they showed it right there. Again, that decisiveness, it creeps up on you, and then all of a sudden, you're throwing a 9,000 gold differential, and incredible stuff from JDG. I know, I wish we had Tabe cams during that, because I'm sure he was every roller coaster of emotion you could possibly ask for. What a game one of this one, and I think showing off what JDG has maybe learned from that loss against Weibo is huge, kind of keeping their mental there. But speaking of mental, how the hell do you come back into game 2 as BLG. Like, that was one of the most brutal losses I feel like we've had this entire year, and they've got to keep it strong. This is still a best of 3.
Yeah, you got to remember, for BLG's perspective, okay, they lose to JDG, but then they watch JDG lose to Weibo. There's the script right there. How do we take down JDG? Watch that series, right? I'm sure BLG did watch it, but looking so good at the beginning of that game towards the end, how it looked at the end compared to the beginning, and okay, silver linings. You had a great early game. You made some mistakes. You overstepped. You can't do that against it. Like, anyone has doubts about JDG, the sign of a great team is when they are given the opportunity to come back, you can't win at all anymore. That's what happens against a really good team like JDG. Azir's gone. That's good. No Varus. That's good too. Varus did maintain its, it didn't lose. So that's good for the stats. But for BLG, I think getting Knight on something comfortable is step 1 here.
You don't say.
Again, stage reps. I will preach that. Getting him on stage reps is important. He needs to get that Azir up. It's looking better, but getting him on something important is very
That's a fat
needed.
0, J Beto. That's a fat 0% win rate. 3 games of Azir. God, that is disgusting of a gold graph. 7.5k lead into a 9,000 gold swing into them just rocking it out the rest of the way. Absolutely wonderful from JDG. They should be proud of the comeback they just had. Yes, it sucks to go down like that early, but if BLG played the way they were going to, it was always going to happen that way. The proactivity they have in their combos are so strong. The fact they weathered the storm and still pushed all the way through is incredible.
Hard for a player of the match or player of the game for me. Like, who do you go towards? Xiaoxu did a lot of damage, sure, but that's Rumble. Maybe it's just JunJia. JunJia, HongQ.
I think it's
Vampire did well
JunJia.
too.
I could say that
Yeah.
too. I could say I think HongQ was a little bit undersung just because Ziggs isn't the flashiest of things. Did a ridiculous amount of damage a lot of times. So I think it would be between the two of them. Maybe Gala, but I think JunJia, yeah. I think JunJia just kept the pedal to the metal.
In the kill participation as well, I think it was Knight at like 30-something%. And the reason that's so bad is losing teams normally have a higher kill participation because the only kills they're a part of when they're fighting together. But I think Shun had 70%. Having your Azir, like, main carry be that low on kill participation, I'm being harsh because this is a player of Knight's caliber. You have to be able to step up in games like that. You can't be making these massive throws where you lose the game off of essentially this play we're watching now. It's extended, but you have such a massive control over the game to dropping the entire thing. It's a massive stumble in a series, and I know that it's game 1. I expect this to be a three-game series, especially after how that game 1 looked, but I need to see more out of this historic player.
Not only him, I gotta say there was some really bad positioning mistakes from Shun, from Viper, like from 90% of this team. It felt like there were some egregious mistakes, especially in a late game, especially when you know it's like one death means so much value goes over. And especially that last catch out for Viper. I know things are not going well. He has 2 turrets down in his lane, is on map with no vision anywhere else, and gets completely caught in bot lane. I think those kinds of things just can't happen, and maybe it's a wake-up call for BLG.
Again, unfortunately becoming a trend for Viper. The getting caught out on side by himself, and it's not necessarily like HongQ getting caught in that game. You're against an Azir Pantheon Rakan. How do you not get caught as Ziggs? But for Viper, it is becoming a thing. He's separated from his team. I'm so willing to play the Viper card and say, no, his team needs to be playing around him. That one, not so much. That one, not so much.
Yeah, it was a tough one. We'll see who ends up getting the POG for this one. Again, I think we have a couple likely candidates, but just I'm still like trying to wrap my head around how the hell this game went to JDG's favorite, as
Ooh!
it will end up being Vampire that gets it.
I mean, I think JunJia played super well, but a support Pog, I'm all for that. Support's
first
getting
one?
some love. He did play super well. You know, I think for me it was between JunJia and I think HongQ. Again, he just threw ults. JunJia really set the pace, but Vampire. We've been talking about synergy, Mazel. Mostly JunJia and HongQ, but Vampire has really been stepping up and playing with JunJia so well. If JunJia is making a play, good or bad, Vampire is there making the mistake with JunJia, sometimes for better or worse. It happened sometimes in the Weibo game, but in a game like this, having your support with you connected so well is so important.
It is, and we'll see if that importance continues to reign supreme in the next game as we take a small little break and get ready for Game 2 of this series.